Hello everyone, welcome back to Python and Pandas tutorial series. In this video, we will start with control flow statements in Python and we will discuss about conditional statements especially in this video. So whether you are a beginner or you want to strengthen your Python knowledge, this video covers it all from the basic if-else statement to the advanced concepts like match, all, any, assert, etc. So we will explore all the possible ways to make the decisions in Python programs. So by the end of this video, you will be able to comfortably use all the types of conditional statements in Python. So let us start with if, elif and else statements first. Open your Visual Studio Code and create a new file called conditional statements demo.py. In this we will see some example code to explain if, else and elif statements. So we have three. One is if and else and elif. Assume you have a situation where you have to take some decision and based on that decision you will be continuing with some work. So that decision making in Python is possible with the help of these conditional statements. If you have a scenario where you want to check one condition and if it is true then do something, otherwise you don't need to do anything at all. In that case, you can use if statement. So you have only one condition to verify. If it is satisfied, you will be doing something and you are not at all bothered about what if it is not satisfied. In that case, we are going to use if. For example, we will be taking some number from user and they are expecting to know if the given number is even number or not. So first take one number from user like input. Before that, we need to convert that to integer input and provide some message to user. Enter a number. So user will provide some number and that will be saved to num. And now we will write if num percentile 2 equal to 0. See, these are the concepts we have learned in earlier classes like the logical operators and the comparison operators. So all are coming into use now. So if num percentile 2 equal to 0, then we will be printing given number is even number. You can write formatted string num is an even number. So this is how you will write a simple if block. So if you observe this, we are using a keyword called if and writing a condition, and these can be multiple conditions. If you have multiple conditions to check here itself, you can write all those using and or operators. And at the end of the line, please keep one colon so that the following lines will be coming into the if block, and this is the line to be executed when the condition provided in the if is satisfied. If the given number does not satisfy this condition, maybe if we are giving 7 and the result will be 1 equal to 0 is false. So this is not satisfied and we are not bothered about that situation for now, at least, because we are just learning the if statement where we will see only one conditional flow. If we run this code by Python and conditional statements demo.py, we will see some message on screen to enter a number, and I will provide 10 over here, and you can see 10 is an even number. And if we run this again and provide 11, you will not see anything on the console because you did not do anything when the condition is not satisfied. So this is a simple example for using if statement with single conditional flow. And now we will see what to do if we have a different flow as well. Means if this is true, then some flow to be executed or some set of statements to be executed, which we have already seen. And what if this is not true? Means what if that is false? If num percentile 2 is not equal to 0, then we will be writing the else part over here, else, and we will write print. The same line we can copy, and instead of even number and odd number. So now if you try to run the code again by providing 10, it will go to the first branch, which is this one, because the number 10 will be passed to num and num percentile 2, 10 percentile 2 is 0, and hence this block of code will be executed. And once the block of code is executed, the rest of the part in the if else structure will be skipped. Okay, so the flow will be coming to the end of the code. And let us see by providing some odd number, which is 7. If you see here 7, we got 7 is an odd number because it went to the second flow. It tried with first flow, and num percentile 2 equal to 0, it is false, so this block of code is skipped at all. And we have else part, what to do when the given conditions are not met. So this is the code to be executed when the given conditions are not met, and hence we got the output as 7 is an odd number. And now let us assume we have multiple conditions. So here we have either even or an odd number, and consider, I'll comment this out, we have a scenario where you need to print what grade the user received based on the marks they obtained. For example, we have a variable called marks, and we will be converting the input provided by the user to integer and enter marks, so that user will enter some marks and we compare marks now. If marks greater than 90 or greater than or equal to 90, then just print grade A. So there are chances like student may got 80 marks, 70 marks or 30 marks as well. So now we will write multiple conditions, and the term we need to use now is Elif to provide one more condition. It is kind of else if in other programming languages, if you are aware of. Elif marks greater than 80 or greater than or equal to 80. It's not else. Elif marks greater than or equal to 80 and print grade B. And similarly, if marks is greater than 70, so we can add one more elif, or 50 grade C. So we have three conditions till now. Marks greater than or equal to 90 comes to grade A, and marks greater than or equal to 80 then grade B. You may think like this may print grade B if user gets 95 marks. No, because if marks is 95, it already satisfied the condition marks greater than or equal to 90. Then grade A is already printed. And once any block in the total if else structure is satisfied, the entire structure will be skipped after executing the block which is satisfied. Right. What if the marks, what if all the conditions are failed because user got 30 marks? So you marks greater than or equal to 90 is false, greater than or equal to 80 is false, and greater than or equal to 50 is also false. So we need to have some code when all the conditions are not met. That can be written in the else block as we have already used earlier. So we can write like else I just mentioned grade F, that's all. So if we try to run this by clearing the console, and we are asked for marks, if I give 92, I got grade A. If I give 23, I got grade F. If I give 78, I got grade C. So see, whenever the marks is 92, marks is compared to greater than or equal to 90. Hence the condition is true over here. That is why we got grade A and the rest of the part is skipped. When the marks is 23, it checked if it is greater than 90, greater than or equal to 90. This condition is not satisfied. Means this returned false. So it came to this line number 17, and the condition over here is also false. It came to line number 19 and it checked if it is greater than or equal to 50. It is also failed, and then the last part, which is else part, is executed and we got grade F. So this is how we can write else, elif as well as if, else and elif statements. So one thing you have to remember over here is Python checks the condition sequentially and executes the block that matches. So we have condition 1, 2, 3 in line number 15, 17 and 19. So whenever the condition is satisfied, that particular block will be executed. And let us see about a ternary operator in Python. So Python actually provides a shorthand version using the ternary operator. So whenever you have a scenario where you need to use if else, instead of writing that in the form of blocks, you can simply use the ternary operator and achieve the same thing. So it is useful for writing cleaner and concise code. Let us see an example for using ternary operator. So let us comment out this code, and maybe the requirement is I need to store some value to a variable, maybe status. In this, I should save either adult or minor based on the age of the user. So first we will take a variable age and ask the user to provide some age. So integer input of enter age or enter your age. So once the user enters their age, it will be converted to integer and saved into the variable called age. Now, if we are using if else statement, what we can do is if age greater than or equal to 18, then you can take some variable maybe which is status. Initially that is empty, and status equal to, you can reassign that as adult, and you can add else part in this status equal to minor. So this is the usual way using if else. The same thing can be achieved by using ternary operator, like we can directly assign into status equal to adult when or if age is greater than or equal to 18, else assign minor. Got it? So the same thing will be achieved using the ternary operator. Let us comment out this first and clear the console. Try running the code and at the end print status. So save this and run this. If you provide 20, we are seeing adult, and if we run this again, if we provide 12, it is saying minor. And now comment this part, and you see the same thing is achieved using ternary operator as well. So I will clear this again, I will run this, and if we give 23, we are seeing adult, and if we run this again and if I give 13, we are seeing minor. So if the age is greater than or equal to 80, then we are getting adult, else we are getting minor. So this is how ternary operator works. Now let us see about another statement called match statement. If you are using Python 3.10 plus, so any version which is above to 3.10, then you can use the match statement, and that is similar to the switch case statement you see in other programming languages. So if you have multiple values or patterns to be checked, and based on that you have to take some decision, then you can go for match statement in Python. Let us see an example for that. Open Visual Studio Code and comment out the code over here. So I will write one more comment, or that's not required. And we will see some example for match statement. So we will take some example which we have already seen, or let us see, if you are working with any web application, you might have seen different status which are called HTTP status, maybe page not found 404, and if the page is successfully loaded means, that means the status is okay, which is the status code is 200. So you have some HTTP status codes. So 200 code means you can say okay or success, and 201 is also okay and created. Okay, for now we ignore this, and 404 is just not found, and maybe 500 will be some server error, like this. So we have different codes, lot of other codes as well, but for our example we are taking just 3 status codes, and we will write something. Maybe we expect this status code from user. So take one variable called status code and ask the user to provide that from console. Please enter status code you see. Got it? So that we will provide what that status actually means. And now we will be matching this status code. So we have this status code and write a statement called match and status code, put a colon over here, and it will have multiple cases. So all the cases are the multiple values to compare. So we have 200. When it is 200, we will print okay, you got okay status. Got it? Otherwise, you received maybe 404, and for that we need to print not found. No, even we get the status which is not 200 or 404, then we have another case which is 500 as well. Then it will be some server error. Got it? And if we get any other status other than all of these or any of these, then we will be having some default case, we can say. That is, we will be printing something like, okay, unknown status, or this, or we can write a formatted string and write status code is unknown, so that user will verify that if they have provided correct or not. So one thing to remember here is the underscore. So it is a wildcard used as a default case which is not falling under any of these cases. So now if we clear the console and run it again, HTTP, please enter the HTTP status code you see. Okay, so I got 404. We got not found because it is checking the status code from the match statement, and it is going to 404 and it is printing not found. And I will try running this again and I will provide 200 and I got okay. I will run this again and I will test for 500. I got server error, and I will test this again and I will provide some 333 and see 333 is unknown. This is the statement, or this is the line I got in the output. So this is how we write match statement in Python. If you are aware of any other programming language, you might be wondering, don't we need to use break in the cases? Because that is common to put a break statement in the switch case of any other programming languages. So we don't need to put that in Python. Python will take care of that. Got it? So this is about match statement. Now let us see one more thing called logical shortcuts with AND and OR. So we have two things, one is AND and other is OR. These can be used for combining multiple conditions. So whenever you have multiple conditions to be verified, you can use these logical operators AND and OR so that you can combine more than one condition. So these are like, we can use these for some conditional assignments also. We will see some example, like maybe we are expecting user to provide some value from console, right? So user will be providing some value, that is the assumption we have. What if we wrote that code but user is not providing any value and simply hitting an enter? So let us see that an example. So here we do have this, and now we have this, and if we have clear this, if we run this and without providing any value, I just hit enter. See, now what happened? An empty string or null is being passed from the console, and it tried to convert that to integer, and we got some problem. So this should not be the case. We need to handle this scenario. How we can handle means we can provide some default value when user is not giving any value. Let us see modifying this as input of the message, and if the user did not provide any value, or we will be taking 0 as default value. Got it? And if we save that and if we run this again, and if I don't provide any value, see now we got 0 is unknown, because whenever we are not providing, it is considering the default value. So if we provide 100 over here, even in that case, it will just take 100 as the default value. That's all. See, 100 is unknown. So we used an OR over here. That is how we can use OR for conditional assignment. And next we have using all and any for multiple conditions. For example, you have more than one condition. Maybe whenever you want to take a decision, you need to tell a user can drive or not. So you got multiple conditions like age should be something like age is greater than or equal to 18, and user should have license, as well as they should have some insurance as well. Only then user can drive. If any of these condition is not met, user cannot drive. In that case, we can say like all of some conditions should be matched in order to do some operation. Got it? So we will see that as an example. Go to your Visual Studio Code and comment out all the code here, and I will take few variables. I mean, instead of taking the inputs from console, I'm just assigning in the program itself to be simple. So I will write age equal to 20, and maybe has license equal to true, and is insured equal to maybe false. Got it? So these are the values I have, and I can write something like this: if all, and we will be checking the list of conditions over here. So the first condition is age should be greater than or equal to 18, comma, has license should be true. We don't need to provide equal to true, because if it has true means true, right? So this is true, as well as is insured should be true. Then we will print you can or user can drive when all of the conditions are met. Else we simply say copy the same line and put it over here, and user you cannot drive. If you clear the screen and run it, we are seeing you cannot drive because we have is insured as false. Try changing this to true and see we will get a true, or I mean you can drive. And if age is not greater than or equal to 18, then also that condition is false. So again we see you cannot drive. In this case we used all on the list of conditions. When you have a requirement to do something when any of the condition is true, then you can simply use any and provide the list as it is. Any and provide the list as it is. So in this case, at least one condition should be true. I mean, this is not the real time scenario, but here we will see you can drive if at least one is true. Now this is false, and take this as false. And if you see this, you will see you can drive because we are using any now. So it checks at least one condition to be true. Now we already have true over here. It resulted in this statement, you can drive. This is how we use all and any. All is the meaningful usage over here. And we have one more thing called assert, and we use assertion for validations. So assert is useful for debugging and validating some conditions. So if condition is false, it actually raises some assertion error, and using that error message we can debug the code easily. Let us see some example for that. I will comment this code, and I will take a variable called age, and in that I will expect some input from user. Input enter your age. So like this, so that user enters something and it will be saved in the variable age after converting to integer. And now we will assert age should be greater than or equal to 0. Got it? So instead of just using if like that, we are making sure age should be greater than 0 and comma followed by a message to be printed when the condition is failed. Like whenever user entered some negative number, it is an invalid value. So you can print like you cannot or age cannot be negative like this. Got it? So we will write a print statement after receiving the age from user just to get the age. So age is and age. So we are doing nothing here, just we are making some assertion so that user should be greater than or equal to age. I will clear this console, and if we give 12, it should be fine. Your age is 12. And if we give 0, even in that case, it should be fine because we have written age greater than or equal to 0. So your age is 0. Whereas if I give some negative value, we got some error and we are seeing the assertion failed over here, right? Assert age greater than or equal to 0 and the message is age cannot be negative. This is the assertion error actually. So age cannot be negative is the message we received on the console. So this is usually used for debugging things and validating the conditions, especially when we are working on some test automation projects. We will be getting some text values or some number values out of some calculations, and we will be asserting the results obtained from the web pages or calculations. So with this, we are done with all the conditional statements in Python. So we have if, else, and Elif statements when you have a situation to make decisions based on the different flows. And you have ternary operator, which is a shorthand method for if else. And you have match statement when you have multiple values or patterns to be checked. And based on the matching pattern, some branch of or some block of code to be executed. And we have seen and, or, all, any, and assert. So I feel you should be comfortable using all the type of the conditional statements in Python. Just recap all the topics and do some hands-on so that you will get to know all the conditional statements better. In the next video, we will cover one more topic in the control flow. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe.